Welcome to the Red Carpet Report, your backstage pass for celebrity book clubs, book adaptations, and new book releases. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Kirsten.
And we're your hosts.
Today's episode is a plot twist where we're going to go deep into one fun subgenre of reading. Today's is road trip novels, which coincides with our May Reading Challenge prompt.
But before we get into that, let's do the Red Carpet Report. And we have a lot to talk about this week. It's not all book adaptation news.
No, in fact, the only real book adaptation news we want to talk about, because we have some time between now and our next episode, is that on May 1st, The Devil Wears Prada 2 comes out, starring the original cast, Stanley Tucci, Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, and Emily Blunt. We're very excited for that. But there's too much other news for us to even discuss, and we will report back on our thoughts after we see that movie. For now, both Oprah and Reese made some waves this weekend, and I think we need to start with Oprah.
Yes, so Oprah had a dinner party last night.
I guess, which is funny because
yes.
We were throwing a dinner party for Jackie's 50th birthday. Aunt Jan is in town, and she cooked up quite the feast and made all of these like beautiful tablescapes, and like she just crushed it.
As only Aunt Jan can do. It was stunning and delicious, and it was amazing because we did it with our families. So couldn't love the fact that everyone in our families just love each other so much.
I know. The kids were playing that game, 13 Dead and Drive, for like hours, which if you don't have this game, it's really fun because it's a mansion and you're all trying to like kill each other to win your inheritance. And there's like, you like push buttons and things fall on your character. So it's just really interactive and tactile and fun. And so the youngest child was 12 and the oldest is 16.
He's 17 now. They played it for hours. And legitimately, they wouldn't go home until the second game was done. So
always a fun one. But while we were having our little dinner party, Oprah was chatting with Catherine Stockett, whose new book, Calamity Club, comes out May 5th. Virginia Evans.
We love Virginia.
And the correspondent. Alan Livy of Theo of Golden.
And Emma Greed, who has a nonfiction called Start With Yourself.
And they all got together and had basically like the dinner party of our dreams. So,
I mean, that's quite the dinner party.
I mean, amazing.
My invitation got lost in the mail.
Clearly mine did too.
I guess maybe she knew that we already had other plans. And so it's okay.
And like between Jan and Oprah, I'm going to pick Aunt Jan every time.
Every time.
But the real scoop that we want to chat about is, and we're going to deep dive onto this one, so we're going to take some time here, is the Reese AI situation.
That's the only word. So in case you are not sure what we're talking about, Reese put out a video. And in her video, she said that she was having a book club. And in her book club, she asked how many of the 10 members were comfortable using AI. 3 of them said that they used it, but only one of them said that she was comfortable using it in the way that it is intended to be used. And she made a video and said, "Do you want to learn about AI with me?" And this started, the internet broke.
It literally broke the internet. So I'm going to pull up my notebook to come up with all the points that people made in the comments. And then we're going to talk about like some alternate views on that as well. So first of all, people were really upset with the setting because she was like making a smoothie and she was in her kitchen and people thought this was like a trad wife sort of manipulation. People were upset that the way that she was talking about it sounded like an ad, and they were all wondering if she invested in AI technology. She mentioned that technology, if you don't learn it from the beginning and you won't keep up with it. And so you're sort of like going to get left behind. And a lot of people were like, that's the point. We want to be left behind. We don't love AI. And they don't love AI because it is horrendous for the environment. Studies have found that it's really bad for your creativity and especially for like kids being able to think critically. AI is taking jobs and women are 25% more likely to have their jobs taken by AI. And we know that she's this champion of books, and there have been so many lawsuits about AI being trained on novels and trying to take over for authors in the industry, but also for actors in Hollywood. So people were really, really surprised by her stance on this and came at her very hard.
There was vehemence.
Yes.
There's anger. People were upset and disappointed in her. And while I understand every one of those points, I also see where she's coming from.
This is definitely a nuanced conversation that the internet is trying to turn into a black and white issue.
Yeah, and it's not a black and white issue, because even if I agreed with every single thing that they're saying, and I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with these arguments. Yes, it's bad for the environment. I mean, that is not up for debate.
No.
But AI is not going anywhere. As much as all the reasons that we hate AI, it is not going anywhere. And so not learning how to use it, as much as you're taking a stand, is going to put people that don't understand it at a disadvantage, because we can't stop AI.
No, I think it's so interesting. One of the people in the comments was like, okay, men do, drug trafficking and sex slaves better than we do, but does that mean we should like hop on the bandwagon? And I view it a little bit more like the Industrial Revolution, right?
Right.
Like people used to hand sew their clothes, people used to hand churn their butter, and that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
And the jobs adjusted accordingly. And when it first happened, it was horrendous for the environment. There were no guardrails. There were children working in child labor, right? And so guardrails came up. People were educated on the impact of these factories. And now we live every day with garments made in factories. I mean, that is just what it is. And even things for our business, where is the line for AI? Right. Because we talked about right before this, we only make so much money in a given year. And we can't afford a graphic designer for every single thing that we put out on Instagram. And sure, we paid someone to do our website and we paid someone to come up with the graphics and the logo. And that's great. But we use Canva every day. And some of these people that are out here in the comments use Canva every day. That's taking the job of a graphic designer. And it's made something that would normally be inaccessible because of the cost accessible to people like us that are small business owners. So yes, there is comments for leaving stuff behind, but there is also nuance here because it does open the world.
In addition to that, just like the seamstresses learned how to use a sewing machine, people can learn how to use AI responsibly, right? There are some really great things that AI can do. And I'm not saying to use it as a Google search, but again, we all needed to learn how to use the internet. We all needed to learn how to use Google and how to do a search and how to send emails if we wanted to continue working. And like it or not, I feel like AI is the next step in that tech world.
Remember the phones when we had regular phones and then we had cell phones and then we had cell phones that had email? Thank you, BlackBerry. I wish we'd stop there. And now we have smartphones.
Right.
And people are making fun of her a little bit because at one point she had like NFTs on there, which like that was, I mean, she's promoted that before and I just think those things are stupid. Fine. This is not the same at all. People also said they thought the tone was manipulated. Maybe she's invested in AI. We don't know that. She might be. And the tone, they said, oh, she's making this. She's in her kitchen and she's making a smoothie and she's being manipulative and using this like trad wife thing. No, get out of here with that argument.
She has a producer And her producer for all of her content told her that this was how she was going to talk about it.
Right. Every marketing video we've ever seen that's like, how do you engage in Instagram? It's like quick cuts, be making something so that they can see. I mean, like it's Instagram 101. It's keeping eyes on what you're saying. You know what I mean? Get rid of that argument. Take that one off the shelf.
I think the other argument here that AI is going to be stealing people's jobs and creativity. I actually noticed a while ago that the beginning of any audiobook specifically says no part of this book may be used to train any AI. Yeah. I think in order to combat it, we need to understand it. We need to learn how to use it. And I think that, and I've been talking to my son about this because he's in school, I think there's going to be an entire different practice of law concerning creativity and the use of AI and the way that we look at professions that are innately creative.
If people didn't learn what AI was doing and learn that they were using books to train it, right? We never would have been able to put the lawsuits out for people to get money back and to stop AI from writing books. And they're writing really crappy books.
Really, really crappy books.
Really crappy books. But if you bury your head in the sand and you're not doing anything to fight about it or to learn about it or to learn the nuance about it or to put the guardrails up, that's not helpful either.
Isn't it know thy enemy?
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to fight it and you really want to fight it, you have to learn and you have to learn about it and you have to be able to recognize it. So as much as it was an issue for people plagiarizing and using AI to write essays, now they have software that can detect that sort of thing. Now, is it perfect? No. However, it is a step.
We have some of this with Grammarly, right? We've been using these robot systems for like a while now. And this one just feels really deeply personal because it really goes to that extreme. We gotta think about it critically.
This is advanced spell check.
The one thing that will forever make me leery of AI and hesitant to use it, and I only use it very sparingly, is the environmental impact. We all know I worked at the zoo. I care a lot about the environment. And so like willy-nilly, hey, like let me do this cute purse thing and like let me auto-generate a photo of me. Like that is like cringy to me. Do you understand how much water is being consumed for you to make this like stupid AI photo?
Right.
It is destroying our environment for silly, foolish, fun things. And I think there's a difference from that and for using it for business or for using it for research or for using it for really helpful things. That is the one thing where I'm like, I would like a planet. I would like water for my kids. I would like clean water. So someone's got to figure that one out. And the guardrails, that's one of those where it's like somebody needs to come in and regulate this.
Right. And I don't know how they do that.
I don't either. So those are our thoughts. We've tried to sort of lay out all of the arguments, pros and cons, support and dissupport for Reese. This really is a gray area. And so to see it dissolved into like black and white, she's bad or she's not, I don't think that's fair. And I think we're smarter than that and we're better than that. And this is part of the problem of online threads. You can only write 300 words, right? Like we've been talking about this for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's really important for people to have a discussion. Mm-hmm. This really is a discussion. And it's something, like you said, it's incredibly nuanced. It needs to be a discussion. We shouldn't be canceling someone because they have an opinion about something and maybe our opinion differs. And let's open it up and have a conversation about how this can be done responsibly
and lawfully and with the least amount of harm.
Right.
Let's switch gears. Let's break it back to the fun of this and let's talk about some road trip books because we need a good old-fashioned road trip right about now.
I'm so excited about this. We have so many fun books on this list, and we actually have a wide variety of books on this list. So you go first. What's your first pick?
Before we even get into picks, I want to define what a road trip is because I just read the new Mary Kay Andrews and it is called Road Trip. And y'all, there's no road trip in this book. So
Okay. What's a road trip?
here's what a road trip is.
We agree on this.
A road trip is when you're going from point A to point B and maybe all the way back to point A again in a vehicle for an extended period of time. You're going to multiple locations.
Yes.
Right? You're traveling on a journey and the car is a major element to the journey.
Yes. Or a van.
Or a
van.
Or a bus. Some kind of a vehicle.
But on a road.
Mm-hmm. On a road. And that is like you're going from one place to another place. It is not, which is what this book was, it was a delightful book. So I don't want to disparage the book, but it was two sisters and they flew to Ireland and they stayed in an inn in Ireland and there were like windy roads and they would like go research a painting and then they would come back to their hotel in Ireland to stay. There were no other hotels. They were just in a car getting from point A to, that's my everyday life. You're on vacation.
Right.
That's not a road trip. That is not a road trip make. So I'm very upset that the Mary Kay Andrews didn't have like a better title that more accurately defines what it is, because it's not a road trip book and it's not going on road trip novels.
Okay.
So it was great. It was cute, but it's not going on road trip novels.
Perfect, delightful read.
Yeah, it was like two sisters. Their mom died and then she left them a painting and they needed to find the origin of the painting to see if it was one of these great masterworks. So they went back to their great-grandmother's homeland in Ireland to research the provenance of the painting.
Right.
Which is lovely. Call it like the Irish wish or the Irish something. You know what I mean? Like it was not the Irish journey, I don't know, the Inn of Spooky Arts. I don't know. Something that was not
the
road
Inn of
trip.
Spooky Arts.
I don't know. But it was not a road trip novel and it should not be called road trip. So I'm putting that one out there. Don't you try to take this as a prompt because I'm going to reject you for it. I'm going to reject you. Okay.
The Inn of Spooky Arts.
All right.
Was it a ghost painting?
No, there's actually no spooky elements to it, so I'm not really sure why I came up with that one.
Love that one. Okay. So what's your first real road trip novel?
So my first real road trip novel actually was a Bookmark pick earlier in the year in a different episode. And it's So I Met This Guy, and it's by Alexandra Potter. And essentially a woman in her 40s is swindled out of her life savings by a man who she thought was the love of her life. And he's actually just a swindler, and he up and leaves and takes all of her stuff. And a local journalist tracks him down via social media, and they hop on a plane, wait for it, where they then go and they want to track him down. He's on a cruise ship. And so they decide to get in a car and follow the route around the Mediterranean. It's a great summer read as they try to catch him to get her money back. And they form this multi-generational bond, and they both have a little soul-searching moment, and they are staying at adorable little hotels along the way. And it's a great road trip novel.
Adorable. So my first pick is a romance by Lauren Connolly, and it is P.S. I Hate You. And I love this book. It's so cute. It also is a grief novel. So Maddie has lost her brother Josh. In the will, Josh makes his sister and his best friend Dominic travel from place to place to place to scatter his ashes. Sometimes they're flying and driving. Sometimes they're just taking a trip, but they're doing it little by little. It's not all at the same time. So they're doing it over a period of time. I can't remember how long. And it's a really sweet, good romance. And that is also a road trip.
Love it. My next one is The Poppy Fields by Nikki Erlich. She wrote The Measure.
Right.
So this is like a sci-fi, which is not normally a genre that I love, but it's like sci-fi light. Also a grief novel, coincidentally. Essentially, there are these pods, they call them the poppy fields because the pods are for poppies. And there's this facility in California where if you're grieving and you want to get through your grief, you're put to sleep, like a sort of like a medically induced coma, I guess, to sleep off your grief, okay, for like months at a time. And then you wake up and you're like healed from your grief. 3 different people are on their way to the poppy fields. They get stranded by a tornado in sort of middle America, and they decide to rent a car and drive right to California. They're there for different reasons. One person has questions about how the pods work and are upset with someone who went through the pod system.
Okay.
One person wants to be put to sleep
Okay.
and go through the journey. And one person has a different connection to the poppy
Interesting.
fields.
Okay.
And so they're all sort of reflecting over the course. You get like
Okay.
flashbacks as to why they're going. You also get insight from the person who came up with the poppy field
Oh,
and
okay.
why she started her journey. So it's sort of 4 different narratives, and they all intertwine in like a scene at the end. But it's a lovely little road trip situation.
That sounds like such a good book. It's so unique.
It is a very unique story.
I have one, which is the mostly true story of Tanner and Louise by Colleen Oakley. I love this book. It's so good. Tanner has gotten in some trouble. Her mom says she can't stay at the house anymore. And Louise's daughter thinks that she needs a caregiver. And so somehow Tanner ends up becoming Louise's caregiver, and they're perfectly happy to ignore each other.
Okay.
Okay. Until all of a sudden, Tanner starts to think that Louise is a renowned jewel thief who was never caught. Okay. And so,
Love that.
okay. And she's like an older woman, and she is convinced that she's this jewel thief. And then all of a sudden, the two of them end up in a car, like fleeing and going across the country. And it is hilarious and funny and an intergenerational story. And is she the jewel thief? Is she not? And it's just so much fun.
I love that. That might be the one that I read because that one sounds really fun and adorable.
It's hilarious. You would love it.
Next on my list is a nonfiction road trip novel. This is going to come as no surprise to anybody.
No surprise.
It's called The Clanlands by Sam Hewen, who's like my favorite, and Graham McTavish. And they play Jamie on Outlander and Dougal Mackenzie.
That's
Dougal
amazing.
Mackenzie.
I actually love the fact that they're friends in real life.
I do too. And this was actually, there's a Stars show that followed them around. So there were cameras for some of this too. But the concept is basically that these two like really good friends get in a van and they drive through Scotland, which they're like associated so deeply with Scotland. They've done so much for Scottish tourism, this show. And they go to different places, and it talks about what it's like to travel together and these really fun things that they learn about Scotland. Like they go and they learn to make whiskey. They go and they participate in like how do you make the tartan, like whatever. It's just like it's an ode to Scotland, and the setting is just as important as the friendships in between because you're really learning about this country. And it was really enjoyable. I actually listened to it and they narrate it.
Oh,
and it's funny.
Okay.
It's really funny.
I think this has to be mine. And
Oh,
I
you
think
will
I
love
have
it.
to listen because I love them.
You can picture them in a bus going through this whole thing.
And I've been to Scotland. So this to me is fantastic. Okay. And I have one more. And I mean, this isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. I chose The Road to Tender Hearts by Annie Hartnett. And this is actually our book club pick for our book club members.
And in order to be a book club member, it's $10 a month or $100 a year. And it allows you to read the book along with us. You get a reading guide. You have a book club discussion at the end of the month, and then the author comes on and joins us. So you can ask any questions, like really deeply into the story about why they made the choices that they made. Mm-hmm. There's also other benefits like our monthly Looking Beyonds, where we tell you what to read and what not to read for the next 4 weeks ahead.
But I will say that we get amazing insight. There are spoilers allowed because everybody's read the book. So we get some really juicy gossip.
Oh, yeah. Claire Leslie Hall told us about the alternate ending for her book.
Mm-hmm. Gail Foreman told us about books that she has coming out in 2027.
Virginia Evans told us the origin story of how she got published.
It is so much fun. It's on Zoom, so you could watch it no matter where you are. And we have it all recorded, so you can even watch it after if you can't make the Zoom live.
And our book club members are
the best.
The best. I look forward to these events all month long.
So The Road to Tender Hearts is a story that really feels like when I tell people about it, everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then everybody has loved this book. PJ is this awesome guy. We love him, but he has some issues. So his ex-wife has married his best friend. They are going on a trip. They're going to Alaska and they didn't invite him. Go figure. He also can't drive because he is a recovering alcoholic and he doesn't have a license. So he decides he is going to go on a road trip across the country. He's going to find the first girl that he ever had a crush on. He's going to see what's going on with her. And in order to get across the country, since he can't drive, he needs to ask his estranged daughter to come with him. And in the car ends up being a cat that can predict death and some orphan children. It is one of the most hilarious books I've read.
It sounds so different.
It's so unique. It is a story that when you tell it, it sounds like it just shouldn't go together. And it does in such a wonderful way. There's character development. You come to love all the characters. It's just fantastic.
I am really looking forward to our conversation with Annie at the end of May.
So now we have our bookmark, and that's on you this week. What book did you choose?
It is on me, and I have a really fun beach read that's coming out on Tuesday. It's Nicola Harrison's The Island Club, and it's set on Balboa Island in 1956. There is something about like the 50s and 60s that I just really gravitate towards. Any kind of a woman's story where this is really the time when like women went from being housewives to being more than housewives. And I love reading about these trailblazers. So on this really sweet island, think of like Palm Beach, but on the West Coast.
Okay.
There are 3 women. Millie, who has just moved to Balboa Island in the hopes of saving her marriage. Her husband's like a big league in Hollywood, and she's thinking that getting them out of the Hollywood scene is going to be better for their marriage. There's Sylvia, whose husband owns the Island Club, so the country club on island. They're like the well-known families, and they're having some financial troubles. And then there's Amelia, who is a former tennis prodigy who's undercover on the island.
Oh, no way.
And the 3 of them together are going to kind of change the island's makeup, work out what's going on in their individual personal lives, and really their friendship is the basis for this whole novel. And of course, there can't be like a novel like this with just that. So it happens to also take place, the majority of it, during Bow Week, I think they call it, which is when all the college kids descend on the island to like celebrate the revelry and like kind of enjoy the end of their studies. So sort of like a spring breaky kind of vibe, but in May. And it's great. There's like a bathing beauty contest and like picture Atlantic City in the 1950s. And that's what you've got here. So
I've heard great things about this book.
Yeah, it's just a historical fiction that I just really enjoyed. It was like an easy read. It was enjoyable to read poolside. There was something about it that I just couldn't stop reading. I just was really rooting for all 3 women, and I just loved picturing this like sort of time period and all the cute bathing suits and just it was just fun. I just really enjoyed it.
That's good. I wasn't alive in the 60s, FYI.
Well, this was in the 50s, so you definitely weren't alive.
No. In case there was any question about the decade of my birth.
I'm never, ever going to live that one down, am I?
No.
But this episode comes out on your birthday, so happy 50th birthday, Jackie.
God.
It's a big one.
So old. I'm not ready emotionally. I don't feel like I'm 50, and I don't know how my kids are getting so old, because other than the fact that everything hurts, I feel like I should still be 30.
Well, you look like you're still 30.
Thank you. I love you. So not true. Okay. So our reader question of the week is, what are your predictions for the Celebrity Book Club picks?
So we will be back in May. We have no episode next week, just as a reminder, although Aunt Jan is here today and we are probably going to do a little something. So stay tuned because there might be like a surprise that pops up in the next few weeks.
Like, follow, subscribe, and thank you for watching.
Happy reading.